What's up, guys? It's the next Mike Ike, and I'm coming back at you with another Warhammer 40k Tacticus video. And in today's video, I just wanted to cover some little tips and tricks for Arena. Now, if you'll notice, I'm on my free-to-play account, and I'm not very far along in Arena. So, this isn't going to be like high-level play, but, you know, this game's only been out for, a week and a half, 2 weeks. So everybody's going to be kind of using the same units, and we're all going to be kind of in the same area. Yeah, you're gonna have the whales that are just gonna spend money. Like on my main account, the one guy is like 10 times stronger than anybody else in our league, and that guy is, I can't imagine how much money the guy has put into the game. And with that, he still is vying with somebody else that isn't nearly as money invested as he is for that first spot in our league, and I'm sitting in the top 25 in our league. So you can definitely play this game and be in the arena, at least right now, with without spending too much money. But with that, I wanted to do some arena battles, and as I do them, I kind of want to go through some tips and tricks, and also go through certain units that you might want to focus on either building or hitting when we're playing this. So first things first, if you don't know Arena, if you've never done the Arena battles and you're new, basically the way it works is you're going to have a pool of three people to fight, and you can refresh for one Blackstone. I would only do that if you really don't think you can beat any of these guys. And the way it's going to work is you would think the easier the character, the more of these, but it really goes off of ranking. So you're going to be in a league, and when you first start off, you're going to be in this league, the lowest level league, and then you'll depending on how well you'll move up these leagues. So right here is your rank, and this is how many victory points, or whatever you want to call them, rating points. That's what they call them. You have. And as you can see here, this will be the consequences of you fighting this opponent. If you win, you'll get this many. If you lose, you'll lose this many of these rating points, and that'll affect your overall rank. Now, depending on your overall rank at the end of the week, let's see if I can show you, that will be what chest you get. And honestly, guys, it really doesn't matter until you get to, even the 250 isn't that, like, 250 or better in your league isn't that good. Really, like, if you're not in the top 3, it's not going to matter much. Like, if you look, the top one gets the ancient chest, 2 and 3, or 2 through the top 10, are getting the bless, and then after that, it's just like, it's kind of the same. And as you go up in the leagues, like, let's get to the Sergeant League. Like, the chest that you can get will go up, and so, being a little bit higher will matter, but still, like, you're really going to have to grind out. So, like, the league I'm in, and I think everybody that played League 1 at the start of the season is now in this league. You can see I'm in the top 25, and even being in the top 25 doesn't really net me all that much. Like, if I was in the top 200, I'd be getting the same chest. I'd just be getting a little bit less trophies. And I think the trophies are actually what affects your overall rank. Like, what league you're in. I could be wrong on that, but I do believe that's where the trophies come into play. And that's the only difference here is the trophies. So it might actually even be better to fall out of the top 50 and get less trophies so I can stay in a lower league. But, like, I gotta get into the top 10 before it really matters, and I don't think I will be on that one. It's just, the competition is really, really tight. And on this one, like, when you first come in, you're probably not going to be able to push up into the top of your league anyway. But anyway, that's how the arena leagues work with the battles. And the way it works up here is you'll get a chest based off how many victories. And as you can see, every one of these lines is where you'll get a chest. And at the end of the week, I believe it's 55 total to get the last chest. So every week, you're going to want to try to get your 55 victories to get your big chest at the end. So with that, now that you can kind of see, you can see where these guys rank, and even though this guy is actually the strongest, he must not be playing that much, and that's why his rank is so low, and that's why I would get 17 rating points if I win, but 93 if I lost, where these two guys are a lot, I don't want to say a lot weaker, they're not that much weaker, although he does have a legendary character. And, you know, you get more bang for your buck as far as points, and less points if you lose. Now, I'm actually going to fight this guy. Not that I don't think we could win against, well, you know what, we'll just go against this guy, because this is a very free-to-play team, but anybody that's going to, like, invest any little bit of money is going to have this team to start. And, we'll kind of go through, there's really, like, 3 different maps. There's way more than that, map-wise, but there's 3 different types of maps, and hopefully we'll do enough battles to kind of show all 3 of those maps. And like I said, we'll kind of pick the characters, like what characters I think you should prioritize killing, which ones to watch out for, and that type of thing. So here we go, first battle on the channel. Don't laugh if I lose, it happens. Alright, so this is going to be one of your standard maps, and this map is one of the maps that I like to call the skip your first turn map, meaning you want to let your opponent have the first turn. One quick thing you can do, and this, you guys should be doing this in really any PvP battle, is you can cycle this and it'll show you where your opponents can get to and what they can attack. Now if you look right now, my opponents can push forward and they can attack this guy and him. Now, one of the early attacks that I do want to watch out for is the Psychic with his 4, his special, his one-time use attack can actually hit 4 guys, and with where I am right now, he can move 3 and do that to this guy. So, while I am going to skip my first turn, I am going to move him out of that space. Now, if he was over here, I wouldn't have to worry about that as much. But since he's not, I'm going to cycle this off, and even though he'll still be in an attack area, at least I won't be susceptible to that particular attack. So now that I've done that, I'm just going to skip my turn, and my opponent's going to move forward, and my character's going to overwatch. Now you saw he did get an attack, but that was it. Now, everybody's going to have this sniper dude in the beginning, and that is one of the things you're going to have to watch out for, is that overwatch attack, especially, you know, as you get higher up in the leagues. Right now, the first event, let people kind of power him up, and he will one-shot characters if you're not careful, even on Overwatch. So just be careful with that. Alright, so now we're going to get into our first turn, and what characters do I prioritize killing? Well, early on, I'm going to prioritize any character that makes more models, or whatever you want to call them, more units. Basically the characters that can bring out minions. So that's going to be this dude and this dude. And the top priority usually for me, if they have this guy, is this guy. And the reason for that is because of his high armor, and you know, I guess his armor's on par. It's not as good. It's not high, but because of this ability here that makes the armor you go through the armor twice, he is really hard to deal with if you don't have armor piercing stuff. So for example, if I was to hit him with this girl, she's only going to do 8 damage to him. If I was to hit him with that, only 3. Now this guy has a little bit of armor pierce and does a big, well, he doesn't have a lot of armor pierce, but he does do 1 single shot. So you're gonna, the other thing with this is, I did not mean to do that, but the other thing with this is ones that do like 1 high damage. So if you see, he only, on his gun, he's only doing 1 hit, and it's 140. So yes, it'll have to go through the armor twice, but it's not going to get as weakened as much as characters that have multi-hits. But also characters that have piercing are going to be important. I'm okay with that, because actually that's what I would have done this turn. Usually I'm putting his shot into this guy. I want to eliminate him, because if he spawns his other characters and they eliminate like this guy, I'm gonna have a really hard time dealing with that character. And even though this guy doesn't do all that much damage, he is gonna be a problem for me. So next would be this guy, because he's gonna bring out 4. So what I'm actually gonna do here is do my psychic. Now, kind of got unlucky there that he blocked. So now I'm going to move up. Now see, he's got 1 life left, and the reason he does that is because he has that special skill where if he loses enough, if he takes lethal damage, he'll remain at 1 as long as it was an overkill. Alright, so we're going to deal with this guy here. Hopefully I don't get killed with this Overwatch. This guy can be a little squishy, so we'll see. Actually, since I'm going to get Overwatch, I'm going to go here too, because alright, we're good. Because he has Let the Galaxy Burn, which if you look, he has a 50% chance to do an additional hit or a unit adjacent to it, so actually he did do a little damage there. Alright, so we got rid of the 2 biggest threats, I think. Like, this guy is going to do a lot of damage, like, is going to hit stuff hard and one-shot stuff, but the other guy's going to do a lot of damage. As you get later into Arena, or higher into Arena, she becomes a big threat. And the reason she becomes a big threat is because once she unlocks her passive, basically it'll do additional damage to guys next to your target, and basically she'll move up and she'll use her ability, which lets her shoot twice, and she can just wipe out an area. She's not that dangerous yet, but I think out of the ones that are left, she's still the biggest threat, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure I take care of her. Alright, so as you saw there, he used his 4-time ability. Once he kind of does that, he kind of fizzles out. Now, one of the nice things about this character, now a lot of you guys aren't going to have it early, but by like I said, if you watch my free-to-play characters guide, you will get him by the end of week 2. Is he has a lot of mobility, he is squishy, but each character he kills, he hits harder after that. So he's going to be a beast if you can let him get powered up. He's got heavy weapons, so if you can shoot without moving, don't move. And there you go. Alright, so you kind of saw the first map, which is the map where you maybe only want to move a character or 2, but for the most part you want to skip your turn and let your opponents go. And you kind of saw some of the characters that I'm going to prioritize. There is one other big character that I do prioritize too. Hopefully we'll see that character soon. We're going to do this one right here, because it does have another character that I like to prioritize getting kills on. Alright, so this is one of the other map types, and this is a map where you want to strategically move up and get your guys in a good spot where they're not going to get hit, or maybe only one guy's going to get hit, and then you can respond. So this and the type of map we just did, where you just basically skip your turn, are the most common of the 2 map types. And again, you're going to want to take advantage of this. Now be careful with this, because one of the mistakes I've been making with this is usually this is a threat range. Like, this character can threat, but it's actually a little deceiving with a character in melee that can do melee, because they tend to be able to threat a little bit more, or they're just messing up with the spider, and we'll get to the spider soon, because the spider seems to be able to reach where it's not supposed to. If you want to check where an individual character can reach, you can just click on that character. Tell you your movement and stuff, but it'll basically show you the threat range of that character. Alright, so we're going to throw this up, and we can kind of see the threat ranges, and we're going to move our characters up and try to get our characters in a good spot to be able to respond to our opponents. Now, the nice thing about this composition I'm running right now is I have 2 of these flyers, and the flyers are super mobile. They have high speed and can get places really quick. So this is an interesting one, because if you notice, the threat moved up a little bit, but they basically moved him up. So what I'm actually going to do is try to eliminate him, and then kind of move back and let my opponent come to me a little bit. Remember, you are not playing a actual opponent in this particular type of PvP. in the arena PvP. So make sure you take advantage of that. Alright, so now that that happened, unfortunately we lost him. It would have been nice. But now we can start getting into the squad a little bit. So we're going to move up with her and get some flame damage on him. We're going to get rid of him. And then we're going to move these guys around because they're not really in a spot yet. And I want to be careful. Okay, and the reason I want it to be careful is because this guy is actually a pretty decent threat. His skill right here says summon a bloodletter, so he's another guy that can summon guys adjacent to an enemy target within 2 hexes. The bloodletter immediately attacks the target. Keep summoning bloodletters up to a maximum of 3 as long as the target has not been defeated. So basically they can pick a chunky target and just, as long as there's spaces, be like, boom, summon, and they'll summon 3 of those bloodletters. And just bodies in arena that are hard to deal with become a problem. And luckily, he is squishy, though. I might be a little too cautious with these guys, but that's okay. One of the things you will notice, too, is, or one of the things you want to do is make sure you're taking advantage of the terrain. Remember, if you're higher than your opponent, you're going to do more damage. If there's flames or stuff that are going to block their movement in the way, take advantage of that. And then whenever you can, make sure your guy is sitting in long grass, because long grass, remember, reduces the amount of hits you take. So, like, for instance, her ranged attack does 4 attacks, but if she's attacking somebody that's in the long grass, it's only going to do 2, because it's -2. Now, unfortunately, even though it's like turn 3 or 4, there's usually not a lot of space on certain maps to get a bunch of these guys in. So when you're using this guy, usually turn 2, you'll want to use his ability if you can. Alright, so we got the win there. Hopefully, we get the last type of map and the other beginner character that I want to show you to watch out for. We did get one of the characters I want you to watch out for, so perfect. This is another long map, so again, you know, you're going to want to kind of take advantage of this type of map by moving up. Do take advantage of moving your guys around too. As you can see, this particular map kind of funnels people this way, so what you want to do is you want to get set up this way. And don't forget, like, defensive abilities. Like, this guy has a defensive ability, right, where people around him get a bonus to block. I'm actually going to move like this so that kind of forces my opponent to come this way too. Alright, so we're going to try to do as much damage as we can to this group. We can get up here. Hopefully I survive that. Oh, it didn't take the Overwatch. Nice. Do my 4 attack, which is nice. And then we won't do any damage there. I'm going to have to bring him in. Oh no. Yeah, see, like, getting rid of him is really important, because now he's going to jump in my back line and bring his guys, and that's going to be a pain in the butt. I thought we would have gotten the kill there. Alright, so we're going to just move these guys out of the way. I'm going to be careful because we got to watch out for her abilities. See? Okay. Alright, we're in a little bit of a tough spot now. Alright, so the next character that actually I think he's probably still priority 1, unless you have a lot of multi-hits that can really deal with him. But after him, this guy. And the reason I say this guy is because this ability is ridiculous. Yes, it's 2 swarms. They do a decent amount of damage, but the worst part about them is I haven't been able to find out where you can see, like, the little minions or whatever you want to call them, but they have a chance to replicate at the beginning of the turn. So if he's going to summon 2, and if you don't kill both of them, there's going to be a chance that they can replicate, and they can get out of hand really quick, especially since they're swarms. Being swarms, you have to deal with them with multi-hitters, and if you don't have a multi-hitter, you're going to have a hard time dealing with them. Get Now, the thing I'm worried about right now is being able to deal with these guys. Oh, nice. We're gonna go there so we can summon our own little dudes in. Alright. Luckily, this guy can actually handle that pretty good. Alright, so we're gonna be able to pull this out, even though it looked a little hairy there for a second. Not being able to kill his flyer early was a problem. Alright, we'll keep playing. I'm just hoping to see that last map type. Alright, so this guy's a little stronger than me. We'll see what we can do here. This is another big map, unfortunately. So same type of deal, you kind of want to position your guys. I should have moved my guys around a little bit beforehand. Sometimes on these type of maps I like to spread my flyers out a little bit so they can kind of get in position. Now you'll notice he's not running the Overwatch guy, which is actually a positive for us, because that alleviates one of the bigger like hitters that I'm worried about. Now you'll see if she was leveled up, this would be stupid OP. I'd just be shooting this guy and it would be doing damage to all of these guys too. You'd actually have a chance to wipe all of them out. And I believe I left him on 1. Perfect. So we're gonna move him up, and he's gonna do his 4 hit, and that's gonna do good damage. Oh, he got a block. Okay. And we need to deal. Well, I really want to deal with him, so I'm actually just gonna bring him up and let him deal there. I did set up a nice psychic for that guy, unfortunately, but I need to deal with. I can't deal with that guy yet either. Alright, I'm gonna try to deal with that guy with him. I did, I got it, okay. So you can see he got that ability off that I was telling you. Ugh. But fortunately, we haven't used. Alright, what I'm gonna do is clear this guy out, hopefully. Then I'm gonna bring him in. After he gets his ability out, he's not a super threat. Like, when he does kill somebody, he will summon another one of these guys. But he's not nearly as much of a threat as he was beforehand. Although I'm going to have a problem getting to him this turn, which is not good. Finish that guy off. Alright, we're still going to be okay here. There we go, I got the win there. I'm going to keep playing and just hopefully run into that last type of map. The last type of map is the rarest, I think, and that particular type is, you fight these guys that are stronger than us, is the type where you're so close that you actually want to hit first. And even though you're pretty close here, this is still one of those ones where you want to skip your first turn. You do kind of want to move your guys around, maybe have him in the middle, have your 2 slower gunners up front, and then have your, you know, in this particular list I have 2 flyers, so they're my fastest guys, and they're going to be in the back. Now if you look where my opponent can threat, he can threat these 2 spaces, and that's with him, I think, but that's fine. Once he's going to come up and shoot 1 guy. So you saw he did come up and get a nice shot on it, but they moved up, and then I got my Overwatch. I actually fear the spider more than him, just because the spider can get so out of control so quickly. The swarms can. Like, the spider himself isn't that big of a deal. It does have some heals, like passive heals with other Necrons, and it's able to heal mechanical stuff, but it's a little niche. But the swarms are such a big deal. Like, the swarms are a really big deal. We're gonna go here. This could be a nice chunk of damage there. Got the kill, nice. We'll summon our helpers here. This one's gonna go easy. Spider does blow up when it dies, so do be careful with that. There you go, another win. You can fight people that are stronger than you. Just, you know, you take advantage of the AI and how it moves people around. This video is already almost half hour long, so if we don't run into, we'll do this battle and then one more. If we don't run into the small map, just be aware that there is a map where like everything's so close that you want to hit first. This is actually my least favorite map. This map can be a giant pain in the butt. I always kind of start with my flyers out to the side, just because they're the ones that can move the farthest. But you're basically divided here in that there is spiked wire that stops stuff that's not flyers, so you basically kind of have to choose based off of what your opponent does. And you want to make sure you have the stuff that can deal with their stuff on the right side. So I do have these guys that can deal with him on this side, so that's nice. Yep. And you will sometimes be in threat, it looks like. Yeah, see, he's going to be in threat range of... I'm not exactly sure who he's in threat. Maybe this guy? Speed 3, 1, 2, 3, can shoot 2 away. Yeah, so he's in threat of that guy, so this guy will get a shot on him. But it's a double hit. It's low damage. It'll have to go through his armor twice. No big deal. He's threatening him, so we're actually going to move him back. We'll just move him over here. That way I can support up there or down there if need be. Alright, so this is kind of going to plan a little bit. Got the kill there. Move up here. Get rid of her. Move over here. This map is the map that gives me the most trouble, though, to be honest. I don't know why I didn't get 2 guys there. I guess neither of those spots would have been valid to shoot. Do be careful when you're using like that kind of, like a guy that can summon. Originally I was like, oh, he could go here, but this wall actually extends here, so it has to be somewhere, when he summons, has to be somewhere that they can shoot, so there might have been a better target there. Go here. Now he's gonna get his guys out, probably. Ah, see, sometimes the AI just makes dumb decisions. Like, that guy should have definitely summoned his, yeah, see, there's nowhere I can hit that guy. Should have summoned his guys there, but he didn't, so not the end of the world. I'm gonna move him out because this guy will handle him very well. Okay. One more battle, guys, and if it's not the short map, the shortest map, we'll call it a day. I think this is just going to be, yeah, this is going to be another map where you kind of just want to let your opponent go first. Another thing to be mindful of, if you look, right, you got this here, so your stuff's not going to be able to go over that unless you're a flyer. So just pay attention to that when you're setting up your initial characters. Now if you look, he can threaten just one of those squares, so I'm okay with that. And that is going to be by him, though, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I don't want to let that happen, so I'm actually going to move this over, even if that puts him in threat of that guy. Okay. Now, he did the smart, stupid thing, which is squat up around that guy, but that will get you in trouble in arena. We need to deal with this guy. Alright, now, this guy, we have him, he can be a threat if you're not careful. He is squishy, so you have that going for you, but he does have a decent block chance, and the more he kills, the stronger he gets. You see mine block there, so boom. Alright. We'll do... I know I said we'll do one more, but since I'm so close to completing those 2 missions, we'll do one more just to complete those 2 missions. Alright, so this is a very early stage one, because the opponent has the healer. This is another one that I'm not super fond of, but actually this is a good example of one where you might want to hit your opponent first. So, actually this will be a good example. Because if you look at the threats, they're going to threat everything. So, and usually if they threat you, you threat them. Now, you're going to... I hit start and didn't move my guys around. That was a big mistake, because what you usually want to do is get your guys, like my flyers, on the outside. But the thing that kind of stinks is none of these guys are bunched up. And they are on hills, so they do have the advantage. But if you don't hit them, they're going to hit you. So, I do have some guys that can get there and take out the biggest threat here, which is this guy. I don't want to mortis around him, because that will knock him down. Okay. Got lucky we didn't die from that. But now we're in an okay spot. One guy did summon the guy here because of the well, it's the first turn, that's why. Okay, I don't want to waste this yet. Although if I thought I could kill with that, I might. Here we go. Might be able to kill. Now, this would be one of those things where she's really good, but in this particular situation it would be really bad, because I'd be doing the bonus damage happens to stuff adjacent to your target regardless of whether it's friendly or not. So in this one I'd be like wiping out my own guys to kill this character. Alright. Now that he's got some guys together, we'll do this. That'll at least do damage to both of them. Here we go. Did already summon, so we can't summon our guy here. But once you're left with the healer, the game's kind of over. Speaking of healers, at least early game PvP, I don't think the healer, you want to bring a healer. There's going to be some comps later on that maybe you want to, but early on, I don't think there's really a place for a healer. In fact, I don't think there's much of a place for a healer in this game, except maybe like when the campaigns get really, really, really tough. And then actually I think Onslaught is a decent place for a healer. But that'll be another video. I'll do a video on healers and where I think they can be played and where I think they shouldn't be played. But with that, guys, that's pretty much the arena guide. Again, we're just talking regular arena. We're not talking about like there was an event recently where you're actually like live. Live's gonna be a lot different. And actually live right now, at least how the first event went, kind of stinks, because it's kind of just a game of chicken. Like, who's gonna move? Like, you can literally sit there. I had a guy where we just passed turn, like he passed turn, I passed turn, he passed turn, I passed turn, because nobody wanted to move a character into range to get killed and kind of start the alpha strike. So I think they can make some changes on that, and hopefully they do in the future. But as far as regular arena goes, that's kind of the types of maps you're looking at, the types of strategies you're going to be looking at with those maps, and at least for early game PvP, the big threat characters that you should be watching out for. Again, I'm going to say this, I think your biggest priority, at least with how PvP is right now, is hit the characters that can summon extra guys, because if you don't kill them quickly enough, they can swarm the field, and then you'll just get wrecked. But anyway, guys, this is a little bit longer of a video than I thought it was going to be, but if you stuck out for the whole video, thank you. Go ahead and give me a like and subscribe to my channel, and you know, leave me some comments with some feedbacks and stuff. And as I've always been plugging lately, I do have a guild. If you want to get into this guild, let me know. If you're a subscriber to my channel, I will make room for you. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a fantastic day.